Ok, clase, bienvenidos a clase en línea y hoy vamos a hablar del imperfecto del verbos en español. So, hey everybody, welcome back to class online, and today we're going to talk about verbs in the imperfect tense in Spanish. And we've kind of discussed these a little bit right before, but we're going to go into a little bit more depth today, so let's get into it. So first thing, ¿qué es el imperfecto? What is the imperfect? The imperfecto is the other past tense in Spanish besides el pretérito. So we talked about the preterite. Those are the forms of the verbs that we use whenever you guys made your books. And we talked about how the preterite in general, here we say in general, the preterite is used for one-time action or an action whose start and end dates are clear. Por ejemplo, tenemos aquí, el hombre comió un plátano a las 3:30. The boy ate a banana at 3:30. Fui al cine ayer. I went to the movie theater yesterday. Y también tenemos, mis padres me trajeron un sándwich. My parents brought me a sandwich. These are things that we know have a definite beginning and an end, and because of that, we can use the preterite, right? So the imperfecto is used for any kind of verb that we can put used to on. So I used to go to the beach when I was a kid. My parents used to own a farm. Things that we can put used to in front of, right? Or actions that started but don't have a definite end time. So, for example, when I was a kid, right? We don't really have a definite beginning and end to that because it's not like a specific, if we talk about a timeline, it's not a specific dot on that timeline. It's just something that happened over a period of time. So to kind of give you a visual, when we drew the timeline on the board, I used that wavy line to talk about the imperfecto because it doesn't have a beginning or an ending really that's definite. Or any sort of description, right? So when we talk about someone's appearance or the way that their personality, or we talked about setting a scene, right, in a story. We talked about, oh, it was cloudy, it was windy, it was dark, it was nighttime, stuff like that. We're going to talk about the uses as we kind of get into some of the work this week, but just keep that in mind. These are really the general ways that you would use el imperfecto. So we talked about this as well too. This is kind of a review here. So any kind of verbs that end in AR are going to have these endings. So what we're going to do, just like we do with everything else, we take the AR off of the verb and then we add these endings. So yo aba, tu abas. Tu is always going to have an S at the end of it. It doesn't matter in what form, it's going to have an S. El, ella, usted, aba here and aba here. It's the exact same thing. It's less for you to remember, so that's a good thing. Nosotros habamos. We're not worried so much about this guy, so I'll tell you what, I'm just going to take him off. And then ellos, ellas, ustedes haban, right? So let's take just a good common one here. Hablar is to talk. So we're going to say hablaba. Actually, just do it this way. Hablabas. Have hablaba here again. This is kind of a little bit longer. Hablábamos. Hablábamos. And then hablaban. Hablaban. So this is kind of what your verbs are going to look like here, right? We're going to have that ba 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 ba, stuff like that. Especially this verb is already habla, so it's kind of a tongue twister. Now, because the yo and the la usted are the same ending, you're really going to need to know what the subject is. So most of these are going to have the subject in it, or you're going to know who you're talking about. So don't worry too much about that. Okay, just like in the preterite. Oh, sorry, let's go over this really quick. So this is kind of what we just did. Tomar, we're going to take the AR off. We'll have our stem, and then we're going to add the ending. So tomar is to take. I was taking. You were taking. He, she, you used to take. Nosotros, we used to take, right? And then they used to take could be translated that way. Okay, and then ER and IR verbs in the imperfecto, we're going to take the ER or the IR off, and then we're going to add these because you remember that ER and IR mostly are the same in the past tense. So ia, ias, once again we have that S, ia, íamos, and ian. We're going to just delete this guy again. We're not super worried about him. So all of these endings are going to agree with whatever subject you've got. So you just keep that in mind as we're working through this. Okay, so we have comer, which is to eat. We're going to drop the ending. We're going to add our, take our stem there, and then we're going to add these. I used to eat, you used to eat. We were eating, he, she, you were used to eat, was eating, right? Anything like that. Kind of translate it that way. Okay, on the same thought there, right? There are only 3 verbos irregulares, and those are ir, ser, and ver. You guys are going to work with this a little bit more in depth, but just think ir is to go, ser is to be, one form of to be, and then ver is to see, right? So we have iba, ibas, iba, íbamos, accent on the I there, and iban, era, eras, era, éramos, eran, veía, veías, veía, veíamos, y veían. So any of these things we could put I used to see, right? That would be yo veía, I. Let's do another one. We used to go. Nosotros íbamos. And then finally, let's use ser. He was. Él fue, or era. Él era, right? So this is kind of what those sentences are going to look like. Okay, next part. All right, so these are already filled in for us, but we can actually just read them off and see how we would conjugate them here. So Sarita siempre blank la comida. We have probar, that means to try. And then always, just like when we had preterite, we have certain words that are going to kind of distinguish whether or not we're going to use the imperfect or the preterite, right? So I'm going to put that in bold because that's always, right? Always. This is going just swimmingly. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Siempre, always, probaba la comida. We have Sarita, which is she, so we're going to use probaba. She always used to try food. Okay. Los bebés, you already know what that is. Lloraban, this is to cry. So the babies were crying. Juan y yo, despertarse a las 9 cada día. Cada día is every day. Once again, we have that signifier that this is something that happens habitually, meaning this is something that happens, this happened a lot of times without a definite ending or beginning. So to wake up at 9 every day. We have Juan y yo. I'm part of the subject, so I know it's going to be a nosotros. We have to change that se to agree with the subject, so that would become nos y despertábamos. So Juan y yo nos despertábamos a las 9 cada día. Okay, number 4, ustedes escribían cartas. It's escribían because we have ustedes, like that bold. Ustedes, that's more than one person. You all used to write. Cartas are letters. Okay, yo leía muchos libros. This could be translated to say I read a lot of books. I used to read a lot of books, right? We don't know when that started or stopped, so we're going to use leía. Mi hermano era un buen niño. We have ser here, and that's our describing word. That's our irregular. So we're going to use the imperfect because we're describing how he was. He was a good kid. So mi hermano era un buen niño. Number 7, we have los alumnos. That is students. Students. Just know that that's students. Iban a la biblioteca todos los domingos. So todos los domingos, that's another signifier that's something that happened habitually. Because of that, we're going to say every Sunday. Every Sunday. So they were going, or they used to go to the library every Sunday. Y finalmente, mi compañero blank enfermo. Enfermo is sick. It's a description of someone. So because of that, we're going to use the imperfect, right? Because it's a description. So mi compañero, my friend, estaba enfermo. He was sick. Okay. So el pasado progresivo con el perfecto. This is what we talked about at the beginning of this year, the end of last year. El pasado progresivo is exactly what it sounds like. It's the progressive past, right? So, estoy cocinando, this is the present progressive. That's that estar plus the gerund is what we say in English, but in Spanish we say gerundio, or the ing word, right? I am cooking, I am running, I am writing, or sorry, let me just say that again. I am cooking, you are running, we are writing, etc. If you want to say these types of things in the past, use el imperfecto. So we don't have to say estaba. I'm so sorry, I got lost in my train of thought there. So what we want to say is yo estaba haciendo mi tarea. I am doing my homework. Felipe y yo estábamos comiendo avena. Right? I am doing my homework. They are eating. Right? We are eating. Okay, so let's practice with some of these phrases here. You were dancing. So we've got the verb bailar. We know that it's you were. So we're always going to use estar here. So I'm actually going to write estar más ing. Okay, so tú, that's our subject. Let me bold this. Tú. Tú estabas bailando. You were dancing. We were practicing. Sorry, someone came in the door. We were practicing. We, nosotros, estábamos practicando. Were they reading? So because we have a question here, we want to work backwards. We want to say they is going to be at the end of the sentence, but we need to see which form of estar goes with they. So that would be ellos, ellas, or ustedes. Estaban leyendo. Ellos. Estaban leyendo ellos. Were they reading? This one here, we have usted for you. So we're going to say usted estaba comenzando. You were starting. Usted estaba comenzando. Okay. You guys were living there. We're going to use ustedes again. Estaban viviendo allí. And then I was waking up. So we have a reflexive verb here. So that say has to go ahead and agree with me. So yo me estaba despertando. Or, if you remember, we can also say yo estaba despertándome. Can say either one of these things, right? We can put the may at the beginning or the may at the end. It just depends on what you want to do. Let's bold that. Okay. And then let's go to the last part. So the imperfect, if we want to just wrap everything up, it is used for a habitual action that was repeated many times, a description, anything that's background information, right? An action that was in progress, an action that was interrupted by a preterite action, talking about time and age. So this is the baseline for when you're going to use the imperfect tense, right? And as always, if you have any questions or anything, you can always call me or text me and ask me or send me a message in Teams or anything. And then otherwise, I will see you guys later. Bye.